Trusting God completely. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3 verses 5-6. When trust is all you have left. There comes a moment in life when logic fails you. When your best plans collapse. When prayer seems unanswered. When effort no longer guarantees outcome. That moment is not the end of your faith. It is the beginning of trust. Trusting God completely is not for people who have everything figured out. It is for people who have reached the end of themselves and discovered that God is still standing. This teaching is not for spectators. It is for those who are tired of pretending to be strong. For those carrying silent disappointments. For those who love God, but still struggle to let go. If you've ever said, "God, I trust you, but I'm afraid," this message is for you. 1. Understanding the foundation. What Proverbs 3 verses 5-6 really means. This scripture is often quoted, but rarely lived. Let's slow it down. 1. Trust in the Lord. Trust is not belief. Trust is reliance. You can believe God exists and still not trust Him with your life decisions. Trust means depending on God when outcomes are uncertain. Resting in God when answers are delayed. Obeying God even when it costs you comfort. Biblical trust is relational, not transactional. You don't trust God because things are going well. You trust Him because He is God. 2. With all your heart. Not part. Not most. Not when it's convenient. All your heart includes your fears, your trauma, your disappointments, your unanswered prayers, your dreams that didn't come true. God is not asking for a polished heart. He is asking for an honest one. Partial trust creates internal conflict. Complete trust brings peace, even in chaos. 3. Lean not on your own understanding. This is where most believers struggle. Your understanding says, "I need to control this. I can't afford to fail again. What if God doesn't come through?" But your understanding is limited by time, emotion, and perspective. God sees what you don't know, what hasn't happened yet, what is forming behind the scenes. To lean on your own understanding is to sit on a chair with only 2 legs. It may hold you briefly, but eventually, it collapses. 4. In all your ways acknowledge Him. Not only in church. Not only in prayer. Not only in crisis. Acknowledge God in your career decisions. Your relationships. Your finances. Your reactions. Your private thoughts. Acknowledgement means inviting God into the process, not just the outcome. 5. And He shall direct your paths. Direction is not always explanation. Sometimes God shows you the next step, not the whole staircase. The door, not the full blueprint. The obedience, not the reward. God's guidance is often progressive, not instant. 2. The emotional battle of trust. Let's be honest. Trusting God is hard because life has wounded us. Some trusted people failed us. Some prayers felt ignored. Some promises seemed delayed. So we learn to protect ourselves. But self-protection often masquerades as wisdom, while slowly strangling faith. Trust issues don't mean you lack faith. They mean you've been hurt. And God is not offended by your fear. He wants to heal it. An analogy, the surgeon and the patient. Imagine lying on an operating table. You are awake. You are afraid. You don't understand the procedure. But you trust the surgeon, not because you understand medicine, but because they are trained. They see what you can't. They are committed to your healing. Trusting God is allowing Him to operate on your life, even when it hurts, even when it's uncomfortable, because He sees the end from the beginning. 3. Why God often allows uncertainty. If God gave you every answer in advance, you wouldn't need faith. You wouldn't develop intimacy. You wouldn't learn dependence. Uncertainty is not punishment. It is training. God uses uncertainty to detach you from self-reliance, strengthen your spiritual muscles, teach you how to walk by faith. 4. Humanity connection, trust in real life. Every human heart longs for security. That's why people chase money, hold on to toxic relationships, refuse to forgive, stay in familiar pain rather than unknown healing. Trusting God completely is choosing faith over fear, obedience over comfort, eternity over immediacy. It is deeply human to struggle, but deeply divine to surrender. 5. What complete trust looks like practically. Trust is not passive. Complete trust looks like praying even when emotions are dry, obeying even when outcomes are unclear, waiting without bitterness, acting with faith, not panic, resting instead of rushing. Trust says, God, I don't understand this season, but I believe you are good. 6. The cost and the reward of trust. The cost. Letting go of control. Releasing timelines. Dying to ego. Accepting mystery. The reward. Peace that surpasses understanding. Direction without confusion. Strength in weakness. Divine alignment. Rest for your soul. God never asks you to trust Him to harm you. He asks you to trust Him to heal, grow, and transform you. 7. A turning point reflection. At some point, every believer must choose. Will I trust God because I understand Him? Or will I trust Him because He is God? Faith matures when trust remains, even when answers don't come quickly. 8. Reflective questions. 4. Heart examination. Take time. Don't rush these. What area of my life am I still trying to control instead of surrendering to God? Where has fear disguised itself as wisdom in my decisions? What past disappointment is affecting my ability to trust God fully today? Do I seek God's direction, or only His approval? What would obedience look like for me right now? 9. Practical application steps. Living this teaching. 1. Practice daily surrender. Each morning say, Lord, I trust you with today, even with what I don't understand. 2. Replace anxiety with prayer. Whenever fear arises, pause, pray, release. Trust grows where prayer replaces panic. 3. Obey promptly. Delayed obedience weakens trust. Immediate obedience strengthens it. 4. Journal God's faithfulness. Write down past victories. Memory fuels trust. 5. Choose faith-filled community. Trust is sustained when surrounded by people who remind you of God's truth. Final charge, a call to deeper trust. Trusting God completely is not a one-time decision. It is a daily posture of the heart. God is not asking you to understand everything. He is asking you to walk with Him. And when you trust Him fully, even the confusing paths lead to divine purpose. The God who holds the universe can hold your life. Trust Him completely.